Well, good morning, everybody. Okay. Um, Thanks everybody for joining me on this Saturday. I think it's still Saturday, everybody. Well, no. In New Zealand it's Sunday. Yeah, but thanks everybody. Um, this is show 63 of Rocky Off the Rails, and I don't have the other camera here, but there's Rocky. We can go over to shaky cam here. There we go. I've got this set up today so that I can go to on a little tour of what I've been doing, since people are always interested in that. But let's go around the horn and see who we've got on here. Getting back on track with Steve and Roxy. Good morning. My good buddy over in the UK, Andy. Andy number one. Andy number two is Hot Dog Andy Pilot, I guess. At the Montrose and Highland Railroad. Yeah, do go over and see his episode 104. It's kind of like that seminal one. He calls out, he shouts out to back out to Roy about his old show, 104 being the last one that he released. And, now we lost him, now a year ago, over a year ago. Seen as somebody, we announced it on my first live show that he had passed away, which is sad, but here's to him. Yeah, let's go over and see what other people are up to in my house. Yep, there is the infamous Ben Ben. I don't know what he's doing. He's looking for something. There you go. There is your dog picture for the whole show. Now he's over here. Okay, so enough about the dog. Let's get back. So Andy had that thing. He shouted out to me. Thank you, Andy. My brother in another country. Great content today. I did not have time to finish it all because when it went live, I had 20 minutes left. So I did watch about half of the show. It's everything good. I actually did bring up another thing that we'll be bringing up is the content of this show, which is about the news, the industry news. Kevin Brown, thanks for joining the show. Pete Motley, thank you as well, down in Tigard. BHS, oh, now you changed the name or it's different, showing up different now. Beaumont Hill, BHS. Okay, you'll tell me. But JB, down south, Southern Pacific Inland Empire. I think that's you. Okay, Brother Dan. Kevin Brown said that. Hey, Dwight, Curly Express. Thanks for joining the show. I call all dogs puppies. Yes. Hi, Andy. Are you home from the NEC? Hey, yeah, Hot Dog Andy Pilot's here. Okay. Yeah, we all miss our furries that have gone over the Rainbow Bridge. But, yep. I don't know. Everybody's calls into the chat has switched. It's interesting. I think they're playing with stuff. Okay. Okay, so let's get into it. Let me see if we can share the desktop. Let me get back to the browser. Oh, okay. let me get a couple of things set up here, and then we'll get into the news. If I can get logged into my email here. And then we'll go over a couple of things, because one of the biggest news that came out this week was, and this, I had Jason, Train Freak, actually reach out to me and say, hey, you can come over and join HO side now. Well, anyways, Microtrains Lines, which is famous for their fine detailed products of model railroad stuff, specifically for detailed parts, things like couplers, which are just, I think, the best at N scale. And for those of you that don't know, that's similar to Katie couplers in what do you say? Hold on, I'm trying to log in here. Katie couplers in HO, which are, by the way, you don't know the history about those. Those two, they used to all be Katie. In fact, you can still find things that look like that are microtrains, the same molds and things like that, and the Katie livery back from the 70s. But at some point, I forget when, those two companies split apart. One relocated to Talent, Oregon. The other one is still functioning and running in, I don't know where they're in, but they're in another city in Portland. I think as it goes, there were maybe two brothers. At the end of the day, one of the brothers sold the microtrain side to another guy. I think his name is Eric Smith, if my name doesn't, if I understand that correctly. We got that one there. I'm looking for the press release that Microtrains, or Midwest Model Railroad, put out. And I'm not sure that I'm finding it here, so we might skip that. There it is. Okay. Let me see if I can make that bigger. Of course not. Sometimes, Microsoft stuff like Outlook just doesn't help you. Let's see. I'll just do that. Okay. All right. Well, I got that there. Okay. So I wanted to go through and look at the press releases. And before I do that, let me pop back over so I can read the chat. I can't see all that at the same time. Yeah, sorry. One-handed camera operator here. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I think that the two that own there, they were. So yeah, let's see what JD says. Katie and Microtrains are brothers who split the company. Yeah, they did. That's as I understand it. They were brothers, but I don't think that I think they recently. I think one of the brothers, they weren't Smith, I believe, but the one owner decided to. Interesting enough, Katie comes out and almost trolls Microtrains and says, "We will never sell. We'll always be here," and almost made a insinuation that Microtrains would no longer be created in the U.S. So that is not what. That is not. Let me bump this. Oops, that didn't work. I'm in the wrong thing here. Let me bump this up. Okay, a little larger. We might be able to read this. So, yeah, Atlas Model Railroad Company acquires the assets of Microtrains Line Company. So, Talent, Oregon. That is where. That is where the company's primary production facility was at. Not primary, but I think only production facility. Now, it did, I think, have some other parts that occasionally would be sourced from overseas. And maybe some of the parts are sourced from overseas, but most, like the molds and everything, was really done in the US. So they said, they announced today they acquired by Atlas Model Railroad, which is a good and bad thing. I mean, Atlas is huge. I mean, everybody knows Atlas, both in the HO side. They do N scale as well. Although some of us would argue that maybe this is an opportunity for Atlas to start putting microtrains couplers on their cars. Maybe. One could hope. But then again, that might be a contentious issue. Some people, maybe they don't like them. But I particularly don't like the couplers that Atlas puts on their cars. But, So anyways, they're going to take over and both the N and Z scale and the couplers. That's an important thing. And the couplers. Okay. Transaction marks is significant, blah, blah, blah. Under the agreement, Atlas assume the molds, tooling, and associated intellectual property, ensuring continued production of the brand's hallmark products. That's a good thing. Production will transition into Atlas's global manufacturing and supply network, ensuring continued availability and consistent quality standards worldwide. So Eric D. Smith, so I had the name right, president of Microtrains line, added, "Our family and team are proud of what Microtrains has meant to hobbyists everywhere. Atlas's commitment to excellence and long-term investment in the model railroad community makes them the right partner to continue the story." Hey, so let me go back over to here. And sure, welcome to China now. Maybe. I don't think so. They actually specifically called out that this is going to increase their ability to produce in the US. And in light of recent things where extra costs have been associated with, that's all I'm going to say about that. Extra costs have been associated with bringing stuff into the US from other countries. Having a domestic line is really is really a great thing. So I don't think that Atlas. I think Atlas is based, at least from what I saw, Atlas is based out of New Jersey, I think. Now it's true that most of their stuff, as with most things in all of model railroading, to be honest, a lot of the stuff, I guess I said most, but a lot of the stuff is created in one city outside of Shenzhen. That's down by Hong Kong, in China. So there's one city that specializes in model trains, toys, and that's nearby that enormous city in the south called Guangzhou. So I intend to go there maybe on the next trip. I want to get down there and see if I can see it. I know that places like Rapido Trains and others do rely on that capacity to create their trains there. I do know there's been some other controversies there with some companies having closed up and stopped the relationship in China, and molds for companies have been held. And that's an unfortunate scenario because the molds are the thing. I mean, you could go back and look at microtrains, and see that stuff from 30 years ago, they're still using the same molds to make like the underlying bodies, the the molds or the metal molds for that go into the box cars, they still look the same. It might still be the same molds. Uh, the bodies for the box cars might still be the same. So those things are very important. Similar was when things like Airfix, I think in the UK, I think they closed down for a bit, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so this is both good and kind of sad news. Some people I saw online, some people complaining about, okay, there goes you know, another hit on the chin for small U.S. companies, and yeah, yeah, that's true. So I'd like to say that I don't know. It really depends contractually how it's written, and you know, it crosses international boundaries. So there's a lot of things that go on there, and who knows who's in the right and who's in the wrong in some of this stuff. Maybe the company was owed money. Maybe there's some controversy there. Who knows? A lot of times where these kind of things land. Certainly, on those things, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And if we hear from, say, the manufacturer, then we're also not hearing from. If we're hearing from the manufacturing company here, we're not exactly hearing from the story of what's going on in China. And there's company to company. So, it's just like any kind of arrangement or relationship, there's multiple sides to the story. So I kind of withhold judgment, although I think it's an unfortunate thing when that happens. So, hey, Wesley, thanks for joining. And so we'll go over what something that Midwest Mall Railroad released on their email, because a lot of customers of all of our distributors have sent out things, including my local hobby shop sent out an email on this subject as well. So what does this mean? I mean, first they've got this new logo that they're going to have branding. Um, well, Dan, we may get into BNSF, or it's not the UP Norfolk Southern merger, or the Kansas City Southern Lines ones. Yeah, I'm not sure there'll only be one. I think at some point, who knows if Congress will intervene, or if that organization that's responsible for mergers on the in the transportation side, if they will intervene. They certainly did intervene years and years ago when Southern Pacific and Santa Fe attempted a merger. You remember those nice Kodachrome looking units that were all painted up? I have one of them. JP's got one of them on his layout. And Jeff Walsma, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. It's not the SEC. It's another organization. Anyways, let's go into this email that we got from Midwest Mall Railroad. They said the same thing. They quoted the whole same story. But I wanted to go down to the bottom here. Really, the talent facility continued to operate for 90 days, so through mid-February 2026. After that, all production will fully transition to Atlas's manufacturing logistics network. Atlas further clarified that they do not intend, that's always an important word, intend, to move the MTL production overseas. There's been a lot of talk about Microtrain's tooling being shipped off to China, so let's be clear. Let's clear that up right away. while Microtrains has had some limited production in China in recent years, and they have, at some of the same factories that Atlas uses, none of the US-based tooling is being moved to China. That assumption just isn't accurate. So pay attention to that. That's at least their intent. Now, of course, there's a lot of things that are out there about intent. Certainly, when you make an emphatic statement and then later end up changing it, a lot of people confuse that with lying. Not sure it's lying, but it certainly does have something to do with integrity, doesn't it? So we will see. We will see where that goes. We will see where that goes. Yeah. I'm not certain about this. There's as long as there's headwinds against how much it costs to bring stuff into the country, this is a good move. This is an excellent move to shore up things without experiencing extra costs that are added to the price of the product. So, if anything, I think this could be a great investment. So, recently, I don't know if you understand about how things were going down in Talent, Oregon. So, a few years back, there was a huge fire. It was a forest fire, but it actually came into and burned up parts of Talent, Oregon, and it also burned up homes and apartments where some of the employees for the Talent for Microtrains lines lived. I think they might live. I think the larger city close to Talent is Medford, which is in Southern Oregon. And Medford, I think Andy, his wife is familiar with that area of the country. Anyways, yeah, they had a huge fire, and after that fire, they struggled to get people back to be able to work in the factory, and it's mostly because uh, homes or living conditions they were not living conditions down there. There were not apartments that were available that were affordable. And certainly, I doubt that, I'm sure that they paid their employees well, but they're not, it's not a high tech manufacturing facility. You know, it also required specialized skills that would take some time to train people into. And so it was hard to retain staff there. And I think maybe that has something to do with some of the slowdowns. They were hit by a double whammy. They had the 2020 event, 2021. People don't like to name it, but the big virus, right? That shut down things. That had an effect on stuff. It had an effect on supply chains. Um, and then the fire, and then just global headwinds and things like that. So as yeah, the China virus. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that. Anyways, um, what I'd like to say is just there was a lot of factors that went into where that company was at, and this probably ended up at some point just it just made sense for them to say, hey, we got an excellent opportunity here. We can sell this off to a continue. We're not going to shut down and not do anything, which would be unfortunate. But we could definitely get our product continue to be available for model railroaders, which I think was always the intent. Even when, it was Katie, it was like, let's make stuff for model railroaders. They were model railroaders. They wanted to make good product for model railroaders. So I think that at the end, this will continue on important parts of that, not just the the cars that were manufactured, but the couplers and the detail parts. I mean, there's a lot of trucks and couplers. Katie has a whole line of those things. And recently I've noticed some of those things continue to be out of stock. So maybe this can help there. Maybe this can help by getting those molds and the way they do it into a production facility that can scale to the level of the demand. That Katie Microtrain's couplers are also used by other manufacturers. So, but yeah, that's sad. I don't think we're going to get a tour of that plant. It will live on. They do have a YouTube channel. I forget where it's at, but they've made videos briefly. They haven't really produced anything lately, but they did show the plants and how they do things, including how they create cars and put them together. So that's kind of like the sad news for the week from the U.S. side. I don't know. It's sad. It's a new beginning. So hopefully, as the new year comes around, so they're going to clear out their stock. As the new year comes around, things will start to show up with the new branding. That Microtrains by Atlas new logo, and things will start to get through the supply chains and get to the hobby stores. And we'll see where it goes. I hadn't heard about impossible couplers coming online, but that might be an interesting thing. But that being said, so yeah, I think that we should just watch and see what happens. Of course, maybe Liz is working on your new challenge. Yeah, I need to get my response to your challenge out there. And for those of you watching, Dwight has set up a challenge, a pulling some loads challenge, which is, he said, I think it's anything but coal. Yeah, it is bittersweet. But it will live on, at least for now. Oh yeah. Shout out to my mom. She's watching. And let's go and do this midway through the show. Hey, if you like what you're seeing here, like and subscribe. If you don't like, then, like my brother Andy said, just move along. Just move along. Yeah, go watch Andy's show. I think he has some great words of wisdom that are often really overlooked online. At the end of March 20, upper level. You mean my second level, right? Not my third level. Well, I can tell you, definitely, JP, it will not be complete. But that is a great segue. And let's see if I can get this, if it's still working. Yes, it is. Now we're going to go on shaky camera here. And I think, and I won't be able to see what I'm showing everybody. But we can see the layout room. I'll turn on all the other lights, I think. Okay. So you've got a train that I set up for Labor Day, but I never shot the B-roll for. Okay, been pretty busy. And then there's outside of the house. Wait, it looks like. And we've been busy, and people have been busy cleaning their leaves off. So the little shrine to my dad is here. But okay, now here's part of the mess. So I was using this part of the layout here as a staging area. And of course, it's a flat space, so it's full of crud. Oh, here's the other new thing. Yeah, here's a close-up look at it. And I can't see your comments, so I'll look at those later. But here's what I've done. I had to take off these 3 loops, or 3.5 loops off the helix. I think I mentioned that before. That was so I could get access to this area. And as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 turnouts that I built here. I didn't build them. I assembled them, and there's track running there. It's not soldered. The ends aren't soldered in, but if you go over here, if you can still see this, I know the light might be a little dim over here, but we can see I've got, you can see I also have not glued the cork roadbed down yet. This is all just laid in place for now. And then here's the car that I was using to test out the track. This is a birthday present from my brother. There's an inside joke about Heinz 57. And I intend to leave the turnouts be hand thrown. There's not enough room to put in the little hand throw things. But you can see that car is now going to go downgrade. So this is all at like a 2%. So yeah, it's going down the helix. We'll grab it over here, take it. But you can see this is how it is going to work. So coming off of the helix, this is the outside track, is the uphill track. So it will come off of here and come into the second level. So the second level, because I have a branch line that's going to start, and the easiest access to that is this inside track. I have a crossover here. I then have this switch turnout here, which is the one that goes back to the outside track to continue uphill. That's right there. So due to the complexity of things, I don't have a way for both tracks to come back. So if you're coming from the upper level to this lower level, to the second level, what I will have is I'm going to put in this double crossover, because these are the most reliable ones. The single crossovers use the number 4 switch, and cars tend to pick those. These tend to be a lot more reliable. So I'm going to insert this in on this round here, and then as you come down, if you're coming down, so the inside track is down, you'll hit this double crossover, come over, and you'll be on the outside track, which will allow you, well, you'll be on the outside track here, which is going to be going, you're going to be going this way, and then you'll come around and you'll end up on this track. So you'll be able to come into the second level. Or you'll be able to stay on the inside track and go down to the staging. So that's the reason why there's a crossover here. There's a matching crossover here. So as you come down, if you're coming back in this way from the upper level, you'll be able to get to that outside track as you come around through the second level. So both of those allow for that. And then this other switch here is the switch, one of the first switches off to go to is going to be a branch line here. So the branch line will run tandem with the dual main lines. It may go in off this messy area here and around there. And yeah. Okay, so that's a brief tour. Let me walk back over. Those are the loops for the helix. There's an update on these lights. I discovered that, I should follow the rule, measure twice, cut once, which I didn't. But I did go back and measure the voltage that's coming off those lights. It's coming in at about 160 volts. So what I thought was a step down is actually, where's that thing? Oh, well, here's another one. So this little piece right here, that's a step up in a converter DC. So it goes to 160 volts. So the way that these lights are, these are not the same as that stick on 12 volt sticky lights. These are done a little bit differently. So they're in pairs of 5 LEDs. So they're groups of 5 LEDs. So somehow, I'm not sure exactly, but somehow, oh, squirrel alert. Okay, so somehow that actually all works out. And let's go turn off those lights. You can see that power supply, we're now drawing 0 amps there, 22 degrees Celsius up there. Turn off that and turn off the overhead. Now this switch right here controls all the power on the layout. So that's how I have it set up. This is the primary, the kind of the bedroom overhead light, which I haven't replaced. This one here goes to, I don't have this. I may reconfigure this later, but there used to be a light there, which I don't know. It was like a little sconce. I don't know why. Maybe somebody put a desk here or something. But yeah, it was right here. And anyways, I replaced that out with this other thing. I had the external box there because it's like this small little half-inch deep. They do it when you have like a shear wall or something behind the drywall, but you want a light fixture there. But it's just like a little box that's only about the depth of the sheetrock. Anyway, so I had to put an external box there. And hopefully everybody could hear me during that whole time. And now I'm about to find out. Okay. Well, hey, I'm back. Okay. Okay. So did everybody hear that fine? Okay, good. You never know when I don't have the feedback of that. I don't have a way to, I guess I could have 2 phones or something. Okay. So let's get caught up on what everybody said. Yep, that was the Heinz 57 car. Will anyone else try them? I'm assuming, are you talking about the impossible couplers? Oh, I might try. It really just depends on whether or not how compatible they are with the other couplers I have running. Yeah, let's see. Not just dumb luck. I think, yeah, Tammy's hobbies probably much to the owners. Well, it's good that they have a lot of inventory. Let me say that. It's good in any hobby store that they have a lot of inventory. But sometimes cars stay for years inside there without being sold. and that can actually make the owners not too happy, because they paid the upfront money to go and buy that at probably wholesale price, and then that's an investment just sitting in the store. What does Andy say? They are already bad in the UK for American modelers. We have to pay extortion customs and postage charges. Yes. Yes. And in fact, what I did this last time was Andy won a prize. You won a prize, or I was sending you something. I bought it from a local UK hobby store and shipped it to him. That was a lot cheaper. I like your junction in and out of the helix. Thank you. I had to come up with something. You need to be able to operate there. And the other thing I was concerned about is I want to be able to continue to operate both tracks before the upper level, the third level, comes online, without doing what I had before, which is turnaround at the top. I may put that in there, but it takes up a lot of space. And anyways, okay. I wonder if they make a car with a hot dog on the side. I'm sure you can find one. The other thing I'm sure you can find in HO scale, at least, you probably can find the Oscar Mayer little car that they drive around for things. Yes, we did see a squirrel. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I hear you there. Repeato is doing a $99 mystery box, which contains rolling stock that is set in display for some time. Okay. Is that N scale Repeato or HO? Now, I have to say, don't recall if it was a Repeato or not, but I bought a set of tank cars, Procore tank cars. And I forget, it might have been Repeato, it might have been another company. So I don't want to pin it on them. But the detail parts on those were not glued to the cars very well. So what happens is you pick these things up, which there's no good place to pick these in, because they have like these really delicate handrails and things like that. Actually, they're not handrails. There's these on tank cars. They have these places to catch people. So if they're walking on the top of those things, they don't slide down and over the side. At least I believe that's what they're there for. Anyways, those are very delicate at N scale. But there's other parts that continue. I have HO scale wiener car on. Some people dress up like a hot dog. Yeah. Okay. And what does not today I didn't laugh out loud. I don't know what that was implied to. Okay, Menards, for those of you in the Midwest on the East Coast, Menards is I think it's like a box store, kind of like Home Depot. So I think it is Ace Hardware. But the owner really likes to have O scale stuff in the store. So they do have that. Oh, there you go. Brother Dan's got 2 more Northern boxcars for his O scale shelf layout. Yep. And now my train is too long to do a run by. Well, that just means you need more track. Yeah. Dan, you should make a video. I don't know if Dan's channel, yeah, it's public. Wow. Home Depot plus groceries plus, wow, that's got a little everything. Okay. So there you have it, the two real things for my show, which were talk about the merger. I think we did a good job of covering that. Yeah, and I want to say, yeah, we should. This is the reality. The owners of Atlas and the owners of Microtrains made this decision. It is what it is now. We hope for the best. I hope that people continue. I hope they continue to make an affordable product of quality that, well, I hope that they do. So that said, let me go over to YouTube. Let's give Dan. I don't know if he wants. Dan, do you want me to publish a link to your channel? Let's see. I don't know if I have it handy or not. Let me switch accounts. It's probably over. Subscribe to him on my personal account. Subscriptions, show more. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I can find this easily because I've got so many subscriptions. Anyways, we'll figure it out a different time. My handle is my channel name. Okay, there you go. So go over to @Dan Tyson. There we go. I'm one of those 17 subscribers. Go for those of you that didn't figure it out. There, you can go check out his small little channel. I think there's more videos about cutting up trees than there are about trains, but there you go. Yeah, I could have done that, couldn't I, JP? Yeah, I forgot all about the things. The only thing I can do is delete a comment, put the user in timeout, ban the user and their comments. Which I haven't done recently. But I can see that everybody's handles. I should have figured that out. So that's what I'm actually seeing. I've only seen handles right now. Maybe they changed that. Did they change that? There must be a way to actually show your other name, but yeah. Okay, so there's a little shout out to my brother. For those of you on Montrose and Highland, yeah, are you subscribed to Andy Henley? So you should, if you're not, you should go watch his channel. He's got 104 videos up, and he's got 2 different layouts in his shed. He's got a lower level, which is the Montrose and Highland, and the other one, which was rebranded in the last 2 years to Sensetta. I think I've got that right. Yeah. So let me see. I could go look at here, and I'll put Andy's link up here for those. Yeah, Sessenta. Okay. A lot of good my 3 years of Spanish in high school did. So there's his link. So yeah, return the favor. Eddie did a great call out to me for my continuing running of the layout photos of the month. I have to say, if you're on here, if you are in any scale, and if you still are, if you're a member of Roy Smith's Facebook page, let me see if I can get that link for you. Post photos of your layouts or anything train related. And yeah, I forget. Every Saturday, I'm conflicting with Lowell Smith. He's always running a live show right at the same time. So if you don't know who Lowell Smith is, he's a guy that does all those passenger cars that I have. He's also he created. Let's see, copy the link. I'll put this link up there in the show for those of you that are on Facebook. Yeah, go over to Roy Smith's channel. And so at the end of the month, I pick up these photos here. See what we have right now. John Tenzillo has got his jet powered RDC project he's working on. Don't know. These things sometimes go slow. Okay. Yeah, look, there's Andy's posts. Matthew Probst. Sorry if I got your name wrong. Andy posted some this month. With a live video. Probably can't hear that phone, but, I don't put videos into the layout photo show. So I have a few principles. I won't call them rules. Principles that I do for how I author the show. One is at the end of the month, like sometime after the first, I go through and I take all of the posted photos and I put those together. The second thing that I do is I kind of do just a light editorial thing. I used to try to do stuff like Roy did, but that's a lot of work. And to tell you the truth, I don't necessarily think I have a great eye for figuring out what's the best one. So I just took everything. I know at some point, I think it was Lynn McCurdy, I think was one of the ones that suggested just take the top three. I didn't do that. So it does have the effect that some people who post a lot, their photos are there predominantly in the layout photos of the month. But so I just take them all. So like, okay, the only thing I don't do, I don't put promotional photos in there. So I don't put photos that are promoting other shows or other things. I focus more on other trains. So I don't necessarily do that. And it's already been done on the Facebook group anyways. So this is really about layout photos. Okay. So then I just put those all together. And for lack of a better way of doing it, they always come out alphabetical. So Andy, you probably get preferential treatment. But there you go. And sometimes when JP posts not with his name account, but with his Beaumont Hill account, B comes before some of the other people. So just keep in mind. And I keep them all sorted, all grouped together. So I was putting attribution on every single photo, but that is also time consuming. So I only put attribution on the first photo of the sequence. So yeah, I've got it down. It probably takes me a little over an hour or so to put all that together. Okay. So yeah, there are some really great modelers there, but I'll tell you the truth, everybody's doing something that's unique. So, and I don't have a recipe for how to cover people that aren't posting there. To be honest, that would change the nature of the show. And the show is about being of service for Roy's members, loyal members that are still posting. It's diminishing over time. I think we only get about a dozen a month that are unique people. So if you're one of those people that still is a member of Facebook, make sure you get yours in. And I should remind myself, I should do that as well. I've got some photos of the layout progress, which I can post up there, that I previewed today in the show. Not the photos, but you saw that area. I don't know how it turned out, but that's what we've got. I think we're going to wrap this up. We'll go and do this again. Hey, if you like this and you're waded through to this point in the show, do that, like and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, and you'll get alerted when we're going live or when I've got new content showing, which on this thing, it's like clockwork right now. Every 9 o'clock Pacific time on Saturdays is when I release these shows. What do we have coming up next week? Next week happens to be November 29th. That means it is the last Sunday or the last Saturday of the month. And that should be a challenge back to me. We're going to try to run trains up to the second level. Okay? So that's a challenge to me. Now, I'm not working next week, so I might be able to get that done because I don't have anything else to do except sleep. So trains running next week. The week following will be December something. Let's see, I've got a calendar here. Let me look at my handy dandy calendar. December 6th. Okay. Which means Sunday, very interesting. December 7th, which is what, 82 years since Pearl Harbor? No, 82, 84 years since Pearl Harbor. So December 6th will be layout photos. So that's what the next 2 weeks are going to look like. So, and then we'll have the after the photos. Let's have a challenge, John. And then I can do a challenge in the same video as Dwight's. Okay. Here's what I'll do, Andy. I don't know if you'll be able to model it, but I'll put together just some loads I'll send. We're going to send to Andy's layout. And there'll be a local manifest freight. So who knows what arrives at Andy's along the way. But yeah, Great Northern JJ is going to send to Montrose and Highland. Should we send to Montrose Island? Maybe we should send it to Santa Fe. Okay. So we'll see what we put together there. We could Great Northern JJ sending to Sensetta. Okay. We'll figure something out. All right. So there you have it. I know this is, it is. Well, my clocks are wrong. One of them says 9:52. Oh, look, that's updated. Okay, 9:59. Let's go over to the iPhone shaky camera and to get to the chopper. Rocky's right in there next to the chopper. All right, so there you have it. We found our chopper. We found Rocky. He's kind of bored there. He didn't get to go and tour the layout, but I had to rescue him from the layout. He was sitting in there from the last show. There you go. And as usual, I'll be back. And that's all I've got. Thanks everybody for watching through another hour of your weekend, your prime time. I know it's great to have you here and great to have the interactions that we have in chat. And then for people who are watching later, thanks so much for watching and continue to watch. We're at 502 subscribers. Maybe I'll have something to say about that next week. But that's all I got. And yeah, don't forget to watch Andy's show. It's free. It's 20 minutes long. Go watch it right after this. So see y'all next time. We're running trains and chatting about whatever nonsensical model railroad stuff has happened between now and then. Okay. See y'all soon. And bye, Mom.